We got all new teasers and previews for episode 9, with our final teaser telling us the most about the show's finale. We started with this first teaser that fans of the show claimed was actually deleted by Glitch shortly after it was originally posted, of the Digital Circus hallway area in a more grayed out, colorless state than usual, similar to the exact same look of the circus from the episode 9 trailer that came along with what was said to be a strange mystery creature hiding off in the distance here, as well as other potential secrets about the show's finale. Only the image went along with this post that read, "Did nobody see Glitch post this, then delete it?" Almost like whatever was shown in this specific image was so revealing towards the events in episode 9 that Glitch decided to potentially go back on their decision to release it at all, as we saw how this post was strangely captioned with 3 dots and no other context towards what we were looking at. So what was this potential episode 9 scene meant to be, and how do we know if it was meant to be legit or not? Well, it turns out another fan of the show responded to this post with a similar shot to our new image from the pilot episode, claiming that this new alleged teaser came from this original image. Only we were also told how there was still big differences between the two that marked this new image as possibly more real than we initially thought. That's the same angle as the original image, but it's looking down the hall the wrong way and the paintings are different. Again, I think they're gonna do a scene that deliberately mimics the hallway pilot scenes, setting up the idea that the Digital Circus is going to go full circle and use callbacks to their very first episode in the finale, similar to what we saw recently in the 8th episode of the show, where Pomni stared at herself in the mirror and put her hand to her face, exactly how she did earlier on in the very first episode as well. But with this new callback scene, what were we expecting to see unfold in episode 9, and how do we know for sure? Well, before getting to that, we were also given more new Digital Circus images highlighting the circus members in a whole new way for episode 9, which started with this brand new post about new circus member renders released for the show's movie event recently. Only these new renders, which started with this one of Jax positioned in a strange way holding his eye off in the corner of the image here, were said to be a lot more important than we initially thought. Not only were there specific implications behind this first one of Jax involving the idea of him covering his face due to him starting to actually abstract, as we saw how the image conveniently cut off around where the rest of Jax's eye area would actually be, but the other renders helped confirm what to really be expecting to see in episode 9 in terms of the actual story. We started with this second new render, an image highlighting both Pomni, positioned the same as how she was shown in the earlier finale movie poster, as well as strange looking cracks in the walls with eyes coming out. But what the heck were these cracks with eyes in them meant to really tell us about the finale? Well, it turns out we've actually seen these specific eyes before, as not only did the same looking ones pop up again in the earlier Digital Circus movie poster we were given, telling us they were definitely meant to be important towards the finale in some way, but we've also seen how these eyes have been specifically used throughout multiple different episodes of the show to represent the abstracted characters, the same characters that we've literally already seen making a big comeback in the finale based off of what we saw from the episode 9 trailer. But what would their involvement in the background of this teaser with cracks around them be meant to tell us? Well, it turns out there was another detail about these eye cracks that told us exactly that, as the only difference in their appearance here from what we saw with the actual abstracted characters was the fact that they completely lacked color, telling us that after Kane was deleted in episode 8, all of the abstracted beings likely went through a big change. A change going along with the idea that they're intended to get out of the circus and escape the basement where Kane originally put them, but there's no idea if they trust the main characters or if they try to confront them. As we saw in the pilot, how Pomni's interaction with the abstracted Kaufmo clearly didn't go so well. But what also didn't go so well was what we were expecting from this next new episode 9 teaser, as it turns out an entire video has been spreading of what was said to be the full intro of the Digital Circus finale released by a movie theater employee of sorts. The video itself highlights the same typical opening scene as the other episodes, only right after we get this potential sort of opening scene of Jax's door, right as we hear Pomni call out Jax's name in the background, just like what we already heard from episode 9's trailer. Only right after this, we see Jax hunched over by his bed with the lights off in his room before a sort of figure approaches on the other side. Someone we can assume is either Pomni or Ribbit based on this scene of both Ribbit and Jax together in the trailer. But how do we know if this entire alleged opening scene was meant to be legit or not? Well, it turns out the same scenes we were shown in this leak that's been spreading around have actually popped up before. Only their original appearance ended up being in a fan animation song that obviously wasn't meant to be canon to the show, meaning what we were shown in this potential teaser was definitely fake. But going back to our other teaser, it turns out what we saw here was actually a lot more important towards revealing what to expect for episode 9 than we originally thought. Specifically, the idea that this mystery figure shown on the side of the image here was actually a horse, as many fans have called out, as behind the scenes horses have already been proven to be massively important towards the lore of the show. You see, not only has Ragatha specifically talked about horses being a big part of her life outside of the circus, but the show's creator Gooseworks has additionally given us more details about these horses that show just how important they could potentially be towards the show's finale. In a recent Tumblr Q&A, she was asked by a fan of the show what the horses' actual names were, to which she replied with Chestnut, Butterscotch, and Alfredo. Only because of how many references and details we were given about these horses behind the scenes, it was likely we'd get even more about them in the show's finale, potentially pointing to this new early scene we were given for episode 9. What if I said that's not the only scene we were told about early, as the most important one, the actual ending of the episode, was also teased ahead of time for us? You see, the show's creator Gooseworks ended up revealing an important idea for a show's ending all the way back in 2022. Only this show ending description has so far matched together with everything we've already been seeing happen in episode 9's trailer. The fact that her previously mentioned show ending specifically called out a bleak, brutal world, just like the world we see the digital circus evolve into in the very last episode, that the characters find themselves in while fighting against a sort of problem, only for this problem to end up disappearing. Just like what we saw at the very end of episode 8, where the circus members decided to fight back against Kane before he ended up getting deleted once and for all. Only Gooseworks' ending description continued on to reveal how the digital circus's ending may not be as satisfying of a conclusion as many fans of the show are thinking. But how do we know this? Well, it turns out I'm able to put together everything we're told about episode 9 before its release in this video right here. So for what we know about the show's finale, make sure to check it out.